from Sunflower Cottage Crochet here with you today, and today's tutorial I'd like to show you how to make this really quite pretty Granny Chevron scarf. Now it is a free pattern on the blog, so I'll put the link in the description for you, but as you can see, shall I come a little bit closer, it actually gives a little bit more interest to the standard granny stitch. You can see the edges of the scarf have these funky little zigzag wavy sections, which I think actually is quite quirky and I quite like it like that. But also the actual edging of the scarf itself is quite straight, so you shouldn't need to do a border around it particularly. This one is a 1 row repeat, so once you've done the first couple of rows, it's the same for every single row until your scarf's as long as you want, so it's really easy to customise length, etc. And it uses one skein of mandala for this particular one in Pegasus. So you can use your scraps, you can use your part skeins, anything you've got to hand, just use up some of that yarn, clear away for some lovely yarn in 2023. So come across to my workstation and we'll start the tutorial. Okay, so before I start with the actual pattern, the pattern does call for 3-weight yarn. You can use scraps or part skeins, anything you've got lying around. It'll look great as long as the colours kind of go together or what you're looking for. This here is Lionbrand Mandala part skein that I had left, and I was going to show you how to work the scarf with this, but unfortunately the colours didn't show up very well on the video when I looked at it, so I'm doing it again. So I will be showing you for the purposes of the video how to create the scarf with 4-weight yarn. This is obviously some 4-weight yarn part skein that I had left over from another project. If you're in the UK and you particularly like this, this is Women's Institute Aran from Hobbycraft. It comes in 400-gram balls, so you've got plenty to make a scarf with if you want to have a look into that. So let's jump into the pattern itself. I've got my 5mm hook here. So I'm going to start with my slip knot and we're going to chain 49. Okay, so now we've got the 49 chains. We need to work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we ignore this first one and we'll literally just single crochet into that chain and every chain across. So we'll end up with 48 single crochets. So there's my 48 single crochets. So then we're going to turn our work and we're going to chain 3 for row 2. Now this counts as a double crochet, which effectively fills this first slot, first stitch. Then we're going to miss these next 2 stitches, and into the next stitch we're going to work 3 double crochet. And then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches and we'll work 3 double crochets into the next stitch. And once more we'll skip the next 2 stitches, and in the next stitch we'll work 3 double crochets. And then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 3 and 3 double crochets, all in that same stitch. So there's my 3 double crochets, my chain 3, and then 3 more double crochets. And you can see already that's starting to bend the work and create that chevron shape. So then we're going to miss the next 2 stitches, and in the 3rd one along we're going to work 3 double crochets. And then we'll skip the next 2 stitches and work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And then this one's slightly different, because instead of creating it where it goes up in a V, we need it to go down. So we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in the next stitch we're going to work a double crochet 3 together. Now I'll run through how to do that with you. So we're going to wrap our yarn, sorry we're not, we're going to yarn over, we're going to insert our hook into that 3rd stitch, wrap our yarn and pull through. Then we're going to wrap our yarn and pull through 2 loops on our hook, so we're left with 2 loops. And we'll repeat that process. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook into that same stitch, yarn over and pull through. So now we've got 4 loops on our hook. We'll yarn over and pull through 2. So now we've got 3 loops on our hook. And once more, yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over and pull through. So now we've got 5 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through 2. So you can see there we've got the first half of 3 double crochets. So to crochet them together, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on our hook, and that's your double crochet 3 together, or if you're in the UK, treble crochet 3 together. Then we're going to skip the next 4 stitches and work another double crochet 3 together in that 5th stitch. So once more, yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch we're working into, yarn over and pull through. So we've got 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we're left with 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through. So now we've got 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we're left with 3 loops. And once more, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through. So now we have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we're left with 4 loops. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And that creates your double crochet 3 together. So then we'll skip the next 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch we'll work 3 double crochets. and then we'll skip the next 2 stitches and we'll work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And then we'll skip the next 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, all in that same stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets into that same stitch. And that's what that looks like. And then we'll skip 2 stitches and we'll work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And then we'll skip the next 2 stitches and we'll work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And once more we'll skip the next 2 stitches and we'll work 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And then just to finish off the row, we're going to skip these two stitches and we're going to double crochet into that very first stitch of the row. And then that is row 2, and you can see we've got the shape now. So for row 3, you'll repeat this row for every row until you've finished your scarf, until it's as long as you want it to be. So we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, so we ignore this first stitch because effectively the chain 3 is sitting in there. We're going to ignore these 3 double crochets and we're going to work into this gap. So from now on we're working into the gaps except for the first and the last stitches of the row. So we're going to work 3 double crochets into this gap here. So you can see how that sits. Then we're going to ignore these 3 double crochets and we're going to work into this gap here, and we'll do 3 double crochets. And we'll do the same in the next gap, this one here. And that will take us to our chain 3 space. So in that chain 3 space we need to repeat what we've done below. So we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 3 and 3 double crochets. And then we'll ignore these 3 double crochets and we're looking for the gap here. So here we're going to work 3 double crochets into that gap. And the same in the next gap, this one here. and then we're up to our double crochet 3 together. So what we're going to do in this gap just after the next set of 3 double crochets is we're going to work a double crochet 3 together in here. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we'll yarn over, insert our hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and once more, yarn over, insert our hook into that next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we'll yarn over and pull through all 4 loops in our hook. Then we ignore this gap between the 2 3 double crochets together, double crochet 3 together, sorry. So we're ignoring that gap, and we're going to do our second double crochet 3 together in this gap. So skip this one, work this one. And then we'll ignore the next 3 double crochets, and in the next gap here we'll work 3 double crochets. And again in the next gap we'll be working 3 double crochets. And then that will take us up to our chain 3 space, and we'll work 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, all in that chain space. So that maintains the point for our chevron. And then we'll ignore these 3 double crochets, and in this gap here we're going to work 3 double crochets. And again we'll look for the next gap and we'll work 3 double crochets into that one. And once more 3 double crochets into the next gap. And then we're up to our chain 3, which started the previous row. So just in the top of that 3rd chain we're going to work a double crochet, and that just keeps our sides nice and neat. And basically to finish the scarf you just repeat that last row as many times as needed to get the length that you want. So very quickly we'll chain 3, which counts as a stitch. We'll work 3 double crochets in the next gap, and 3 double crochets in the next gap, and 3 double crochets in the next gap, and then we're up to the chain 3 space. We'll work 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, all in that chain space. And then in the next gap we'll work 3 double crochets, in the next gap we'll work 3 double crochets, and then we're up to our double crochet 3 together. So in the next gap we're going to work double crochet 3 together, we'll skip the next gap, and in the next one we'll work our second double crochet 3 together, and then we'll look for the next gap after the 3 double crochets and we'll work 3 double crochets into that gap and 3 double crochets into the next gap. My yarn's decided to try and dance with me. And in the next chain 3 space we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. And then in the next gap we'll work 3 double crochets, in the next gap we'll work 3 double crochets, in the next gap we'll work 3 double crochets, and then in that third of the 3 chains that start at the row below we're just going to work a double crochet by itself, and that is the repeat that you need to finish the scarf. So I hope you've had fun making your scarf. Please feel free to tag me on social media if you like to post about your projects, etc. I'd love to be able to see what you've made, and I hope to see you soon. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel, click that little bell icon to be notified of any updates that I might make to the channel or whenever a video is added, and I'll see you soon. Take care guys, bye.